I forgot to record. I forgot. Oh my god, I am so happy I realized I wasn't recording. Let's redo the intro. Are you guys ready? Guys, pretend we're talking about it for the first time. Bro's gonna read COI. I feel you will like it. I'm excited. Okay, we're redoing the intro because I accidentally forgot to hit record. What was we read the baguette? We read oui oui, and we read the word a train in French. I don't know why you guys are fucking spamming French. The last thing I remember, Tingen, Backland, West. Oh, that is, we are not in French. Wait, hold up. Wasn't Intis based on the French? You could have just ripped the VOD easy. Nah, yeah. Look, man. My editing skills go as far as pause and record. Me going back, just rescreening a stream, just takes too long. You'll find out real soon. Oh, I'm excited, dude. Let's fucking go. And you know what? It is time to say goodbye. Inverted. It's so dumb. I'm pointing this way, but I see it right there. It is time to say goodbye to the beautiful Lord. I just realized it says Lord of Mysteries. It doesn't even say Lord of the Mysteries. Huh. I've never noticed that. It is time to say goodbye to the beautiful Lord of the Mysteries picture that has been with us for so long. And now we will update it too. Look, I'm actually recording it, but look, I was so good. I'm gonna pause it and play it when I switch it. Look. I almost forgot to hit record. Now we update this chapter. Damn, look, I can even fit the whole thing right here. Chapter 1. I don't think the yellow font's gonna work now. We are not the black and gold color anymore. I assume we're gonna be a little bit of red now. I assume we're gonna be red. I assume this color is gonna have to change in the future. But for now, we'll just keep it like that for old time's sake. Chapter 1. Awesome, man. What do I need to do? What do I have left? Oh, I gotta put chat on screen. All right, well, on my end, so I can see you guys. Here we go. Chapter 1, Foreigners. Chapter 1, Foreigners. Oh. I haven't even read one word and I'm already excited, dude. Oh, I can't do this again. Okay. Chapter 1, Foreigners. A price is always exacted for what fate bestows. Adapted from... Oh, the character's reading a book. Also, get chat on live chat to see money. He's hidden on top of chat for some reason. No, right, I got the YouTube chat. Oh, wow, you guys were quick. Okay, so it's a real book. Adapted from Zweig, Mary, Queen of Scots. I mean, nobody with no time to notice the brightness of the sun. My parents couldn't help me, and I wasn't highly educated. I have no choice but to make it on my own in the city. I'd applied to many jobs, but no one ever hired me. Maybe it's because I'm not good at expressing myself, but I'm not the best communicator. I guess I just haven't shown enough ability. Once I eaten 2 loaves of bread. Oh, loaves of bread. Here we go. Here we go, man. Once I eaten 2 loaves of bread over a 3-day period, hunger kept me up at night. At least I paid a month's rent in advance, so I didn't have to face the cold winter wind outside. Finally, I found a job at the hospital's morgues, keeping vigil over the dead. Nighttime in the hospital was colder than I could have... Is this person going to be a corpse collector? I'm sorry, hold up. Nighttime in the hospital wasn't colder than I could have ever imagined. The corridor walls, lights were out, leaving everything shrouded in darkness. I could barely see my feet, and the only light seeping out from... I am not going to butcher reading chapter 1. Nighttime in the hospital was colder than I could have ever imagined. The corridor's walls, lights were out, leaving everything in the shrouded in darkness. I could barely see my feet, and the only light seeping out was from the rooms. The first theory of easy for COI. The first of many. The first of 100%. All of them are going to be accurate, by the way. Nighttime in the hospital was colder than I could have ever imagined. The corridor's walls, lights up, and we're in a time loop already. Easy learning, relearning reading. I know, man. We haven't read in like 2 months. Well, we haven't read LOTM in 2 months. Mon Dieu. Bro, this is French? Is this why you guys were spamming French in the beginning? Mon Dieu. It reeked. Oh, shit. The guy's French? Oh, I'm dropping it. No, I'm fucking kidding. I'm kidding. Mon Dieu. It reeked of something fierce. The smell of death lingered in the air. And from time to time, we had to help move the bodies into the morgue. It wasn't the first glamorous of jobs, but it put bread on the table. Plus, the free time at night allowed me to study. Mon Dieu equals my God. Oh, my God. Mon Dieu. Mon Dieu. It wasn't the most glamorous of jobs, but it put bread on the table. Plus, the free time at night allowed me to study. Few people ventured to the morgue, but when they did, they were there. Delivered bodies or taking them away from cremation. I had to make do without books and I couldn't afford them, nor did I see any hope of saving up enough for them. But I had to thank my predecessors for leaving me so suddenly, as it allowed me to get this job. I dreamed of working the day shift, sleeping during the day, and being awake at night made my body weak and my head throb. One day a new corpse was brought in. From what I'd heard, it's the body of my predecessor who suddenly left. What the fuck? Okay. You usually don't pronounce the X in French. Oh, it's silent. Okay, thank you. So we're learning. We are learning. We are relearning again. We are relearning reading. I was intrigued by the mysterious disappearance of my predecessor, and as soon as the others left the room, I pulled out the cabinet and quietly opened the body bag. It was an old man with bluish white skin and wrinkles covering his face. The poor lighting only served to make him look The poor lighting only served to make him look scarier. He didn't have much hair. We're gonna see a characteristic on him. He didn't have much hair. Most of it was white. He had been stripped of his clothes. Not even a piece of cloth was left on him. And as a dead man without family, the movers couldn't resist the opportunity to cash in on the guy. I saw a string mark on his chest. It was bluish black. A strange mark on his chest. It was bluish black. I can't really explain it. The light was too dim at the time. I reached out and touched the mark only to realize that there was nothing special about it. Looking at my predecessor, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd end up like him when I grew old. I promised his body I'd be with him over the last journey, take him to the cremation, and then to the nearest free cemetery. I couldn't have the bureaucrats throwing him into the river or some forsaken land like Forsaken Land. I understood that reference. Yeah, we starting today. We started, man. I couldn't have the bureaucrats throwing him in the river or some forsaken land like trash. I knew I wasn't gonna have to sacrifice some, should I? But Dieu mercy. It was, man, this is going to be hard. Oh, it's going to be hard. Oh, it's going to be hard. Oh, my French is not that good. All I know is oui, monsieur. And that's it. That's all I spent. That was like my auto. That was on autopilot. That's all I would say when I was in France. Oui. And that's it. That's it. Or mercy? No. But Dieu mercy, it was Sunday the next day. I could catch up on my lost sleep then. After saying that, I zipped up my bag and shoved it back to the cabinet. The room went dark and the shadows lengthened. Since that day, every time I close my eyes, I'm swallowed by What? Since that day, every time I close my eyes, I'm swallowed by a thick fog. Something tells me I'm not alone. Something's not quite human and... What? Something tells me I'm not alone. Something not quite human is coming my way, but nobody will listen. They think I've lost my mind in this job. They say I need a doctor. A male customer sitting at the bar looked at the narrator, who had suddenly stopped, and asked, the narrator? What the fuck? The narrator suddenly stopped his tale, causing a male customer at the bar to take notice. The mid-30s chap sported a drab duffel coat and pale yellow stripes. His hair was slicked back, and he had a rough, dark bowler hat by his side. He seemed to be the run-of-the-mill like the rest of the punchers in the alehouse, with dark locks and piercing blue peppers. Peppers? Not particularly handsome, but not repugnant either. Nothing about him screamed for attention. The narrator was a strapping lad. Why can I fucking read? I am too excited. Easy can catch up to Wiz Trust. Yo, man, hell yeah. Just make him read something else, and we'll the race is on again, brothers and sisters. The narrator was a strapped lad, late in his 30s. I just fucking read this again. I'm already in the time loop. Oh my god, it's already a bad first chapter to read through. I am sorry, guys. The lad looked wistfully at the empty wine glass in front of him and let out a deep sigh, and then I quit my job and returned to the countryside so that I can tell you this bullshit. The lad responded with a sly grin spreading across his face. The male guest was taken aback. Were you just pulling our leg? Ha! Laughter erupted around the bar. However, the laughter was short-lived as the middle-aged man looked sternly at the slightly embarrassed customer and remarked, "You ain't from around here, are ya? LUMIAN Central is in COI? I'm sorry. LUMIAN Central is in COI? LUMIAN Central is a COI name? Lumian spins a different yarn every day. Yesterday, he was a penniless block who got dumped by his fiancée, and today he's a watchman from the dead. He talks about spending 30 years east of Sorrenzo River and 30 years to the right of it. He's full of hot air, that one, and added another regular at the tavern. All the men were farmers from the village of Cordu wearing drab-colored tunics. The black-haired lad, Lumian. The black-haired lad Lumian leaned forward on the bar counter and rose to his feet. He flashed a cheeky grin and proclaimed, "As you all know, I ain't the one making this up. My sister pens these tales." He has a sister? My sister pens these tales. She's a writer. She's a writer? She's a writer for some column known as the Novel Weekly or other. With that, Lumian turned around, spread his arms wide, and beamed at the foreigner customers. "Looks like she's crafted quite the tale. I'm sorry you misunderstood." The unremarkable man in the brown tweed shirt smiled and stood up. "What an intriguing story, and how may I address you? Isn't it common courtesy to introduce oneself before inquiring others?" Lumian replied, returning the man's smile. The foreigner nodded. "Who's this foreigner?" "My name is Ryan Cost. These are my companions, Valentine and Leia." The last sentence referred to the man and woman sitting beside him. Valentine, a man in his late 20s with powdered blood hair and piercing blue eyes, wore a white vest, a blue tweed jacket, and black trousers. It was evident that he had put considerable effort into this attire, as if he had been priming himself for a special rendezvous. Remember when I used to fucking go rendezvous? I'm like, bro, what am I saying? He had a rather chilly look on his face, not even sparing a glance from the farmers and herders around him. Leia, on the other hand, was a striking young woman with long, light gray hair tied in an elaborate bun and a white veil perched atop her head. Her eyes matched her hair, and she regained Lumian with an open smile, clearly amused by her exchange. In the glow of the gas lamps inside the tavern, the woman named Leia showed off her sharp nose and stunningly curved lips. She was definitely a stunner in the countryside like Cordu. She wore a snug white plaited cashmere dress with a small off-white coat and a pair of Marcelian boots. There were two tiny silver bells fastened to her veil and boots. They jingled as she walked into the tavern, drawing the attention of many, especially the men. In their eyes, it was the kind of fashionable getup you'd only see in the big cities, like a provisional capital of Bijor. I cannot read these names. These are really hard names. We will get used to it. It's going to be like Tingen, Leonard all over again, huh? Or even the capital city of Trier. I remember Trier. Lumian gave a nod of an acknowledgement to the three foreigners. The name Lumian Lee? Lee? Sounds like an... Lee? Is this like a transmigrator name? What's going on here? "You may address me as Lumian. Lee." Lee or Lay? No, I assume it's Lee. Leia blurted out, "What's the matter? Y'all got a problem with my last name?" Lumian Lee? Leia blurted out, "What's the matter? Y'all got a problem with my last name?" Lumian asked with a curious look on his face. Ryan Cost took it upon himself to explain on Leia's behalf. "Your last name is downright frightening. I nearly lost control of my voice right now." Okay. Observing the bewildered expressions of the farmers and herdsmen around him, he continued, "Folks who could have crossed paths with sailors and sea merchants are familiar with a saying that makings run around the 5 seas. I'd rather come face to face with pirate admirals or even kings than run into a block named Frank." Oh, wait, what the fuck? Frank Lee? Wait. What the fuck? Wait a minute. Are these his kids? Are these his relatives? What the fuck am I reading? Frank Lee's descendant. I'd rather come face to face with pirate admirals or even kings than run into the block named Frank Lee. The person's last name is also Lee. Is he really that scary? Lumian inquired. Ryan shook his head in response. "I'm not exactly sure, but if such a legend exists, then it can't be as far from the truth." He switched topics and said to Lumian, Mercy for the story, it merits a drink. Yes, be ready for book 1 character mentions the book 2. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh, easy thinking Lee is an Asian name. I am sorry. I think I was thinking it was an Asian name. Sorry. That was like my default answer. I was like, well, is it Asian? Like, is this another transmigrator? But fucking Frank Lee. He switched topics and said to Lumian, "Mercy for the story and merits a drink. What do you desire? A glass of La Vie Verte." Bro, French is... Mercy means thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Okay, I thought it meant like have mercy on me, but no, like mercy. Thank you. Got it. We are learning French today. A glass of La Fée Verte. Lumian didn't beat around the bush and settled back into his seat. Ryan Koss furrowed his brows. Oh my god, the French keeps going. La Fée Verte Absinthe? Le Fée Verte equals the green fairy, name of a drink. Oh my god, thank you guys. What would I do without you? I must remind you, absinthe is a harmful to the human body. Such alcohol can lead to insanity and hallucinations. I didn't expect the trends of Trier to reach here. Leia chimed in with a grin. Lumian acknowledged her comment tersely, so the people of Trier also enjoyed La Fée Verte. For us, life is already tough enough. No need to fret over a little more harm. This drink can calm our minds. All right, Ryan leaned back into his chair and turned to the bartender. A glass of La Fée Verte and another glass of... Why is the O and E together? And a glass of fucking shit, dude. I can't read French. This is hard. And another glass of épicier. What's with the asterisks on the E's, bro? Do I go like, how do I pronounce the E's? Oh my god, it keeps going. Coët épicier was a renowned fruit. Just then say it's a fruit. Coët épicier was a renowned fruit. Oh my god, so dumb. I feel like I've regressed. I genuinely feel like I got stupider at reading, dude. Coët épicier equals spicy heart. Why did they just say spicy heart in the first place? Coët épicier was a renowned fruit-based spear that had been distilled to perfection. The thin, middle-aged man who had exposed Lumian's lines peeped up. Give me a glass of La Fée Verte too. Oh my god, man. After all, I was the one who told the truth just now. I can even tell you the truth about this kid situation. He glared at Lumian, daring him to object. Foreigner, I can tell you still have your doubts about the authenticity of that story. Pierre, you'd do anything to free a glass of alcohol, Lumian retorted, scrawling. Before Ryan could even respond, Lumian added, why can't I tell you my story and get an extra glass of La Fée Verte? Because no one knows if they should believe you, Pierre smirked. Your sister's favorite story to tell kids is The Boy Who Cried Wolf. People who lied all the time lose their credibility eventually. Lumian shrugged and watched as the bartender slid a glass of light green alcohol in front of him. Cava? He said, unbothered. Dude, where are we? Dude, Cuttlefish knows Chinese, English, and now French? Bro. Lumian shrugged and watched as the bartender slid a glass of light green alcohol in front of him. Cava, he said, unbothered. Ryan turned to Lumian. Is that alright? Sure thing, as long as your wallet can handle it. Lumian replied breezily. In that case, another glass of La Fée Verte. Ryan said with a nod. Pierre's face lit up with a smile. Generous foreigner, you should steer clear of this one, he said, gesturing to Lumian. He's the most mischievous block in the whole village. 5 years ago, his sister... How do I pronounce his sister's name? Aurore? 5 years ago, his sister Aurore brought him back to the village. Pierre continued. He's been here ever since. Can you imagine? He was just a wee lad of 13 at the time, so now he's 17. Wait, no, 18. Fuck, I can't math. 13 plus 5. Yeah, 18. Of 13 at the time, he could have had made the trek to the hospital to become a corpse watchman. The nearest hospital is in the Derige at the foot of the mountain. Oh my god, the French never end. My god, I don't know French. I actually need to practice French. It would take an entire afternoon to get there by foot. Brought back to the village, Leia inquired, her voice tinged with suspicion. She tilted her head, causing her bells to tinkle. Pierre nodded in confrontation. Aurora. Me want to read English translation, French jump scare.
Aurora moved here.
Aurora. Like the Aurora Order. Oh, like the Aurora Order. Aurora moved here 6 years ago. A year later, she went on a journey and brought this lad back with her. So not biological brother? She said she found him on the road, a starving homeless child. She planned to adopt him. Then he took on Aurore's last name, Lee. Even his name, Lumian, was given by Aurore. I don't even remember what my name was before Aurora gave it to me. Bro, this is not a real human. There's more to it. How do you not know who you are? I don't even remember what my name was before Aurora gave me that name. Lumian unfazed. Oh, wait, Azik? Hold up. Azik didn't know his name when he woke up. Is that why he's working at a morgue? Corpse collector? Hold up. Lumian, unfazed by the revelation, flashed a grin and took a sip of absinthe. It was clear that his past did not bother him in the slightest. And that was chapter 1. Zig did know his name. You're right. It's not Aurora, but close enough. Aurora. Oh my god. All right. Chapter 2 is called Prank. Prank! It's a prank, guys! We're actually done. We're just gonna read one chapter. We're actually done later. Nah, imagine. Damn. Easy made more theories in 10 minutes than Wiz did in 200 chapters. Dude, you want... Look, I'm already theory crafting. Lumian, at first, I was like, holy shit, Lumian is a fucking mushroom Frank Lee made. That's the first thing I'm thinking, holy shit, Frank Lee can actually make humanoid mushrooms or some crazy shit. You know how this guy likes to fucking create life, man. This guy loves to create little Frankenstein abominations. I'm like, hold up. He just created like real humans, or maybe it's like some artificial death shit. What the fuck? I know, man. That's the first thing I was thinking. Hold up, Frank Lee's kids. And I was like, Frank Lee wouldn't have a baby the proper way. He would just create one. I'm like, is that what's happening here? It's like, hold up. Because people would be like, hold up. This guy's a little creepy. He's a little freaky. But I was like, hold up. And now I'm like, I'm gonna just shut up. I'm thinking out loud. Let's keep reading. Chapter 2 is called Prank. You see, it was a prank. That was a prank theory. Chapter 2 is called Prank. Ryan apologized politely to Lumian. Forgive me, I did not expect such a situation, he said. Lumian chuckled. I can't believe, just like, what the fuck? Lumian chuckled. Are you suggesting we need another glass of Le Fée Vitae? Wow, it's a long chapter. What brings foreigners like you to Cordu? Are you here to buy wool or leather? Many of Cordu's residents made their livings as shepherds. Ryan breathed a silent sigh of relief and seized the opportunity to explain their true purpose. We came to visit the Eternal Blazing Sun Church's Padre, Guillaume Benet, but he seemed to be absent from both his home and the cathedral. Pierre, who had enjoyed Ryan's free absinthe, kindly reminded him that there was only one church in the corridor. The other locals around the bar counter were all drinks, but no one answered Ryan's questions. The name seemed to represent some kind of taboo or authority that couldn't be openly discussed. Lumian took a sip of his drink and took a few seconds before offering his assistance. I can roughly guess where the Padre is. Do you need me to take you there? Guillaume is pronounced as Guillaume. Guillaume. I was thinking of like you know how like Guillermo del Toro, like I was like Guillaume. Okay, so it's Guillaume. Okay, I can roughly guess where the Padre is. Do you need me to take you there? Thank you, Kemi. Leia didn't stand on ceremony. If it's not too much trouble, she said. Ryan nodded in agreement. Once you finish your drink, all right. Lumian raised his glass and finished the light green alcohol. He put down his glass and got to his feet. Let's go. Mercy. Thank you. Mercy. Poop. I said poop. Hold up. Mercy Becoup. Ryan expresses gratitude. I do not know French, as you can tell. Ryan expresses gratitude and gestured for Valentine and Leia to stand up, but Lumian's face lit up with a smile. It's no problem at all. You heard of my story, and I enjoyed a complimentary drink. That makes us friends. What the fuck? My God, they keep doubling down on the French. That makes us friends. Ne si pas? Oui. Is I assume oui. Oui is yes. Bocup? Ryan nodded. Lumian grinned widely, stretched from his ear to ear. He opened his arms wide, beckoning the other party in for a hug. It's good to meet you. My cabbages. Oh, like Avatar the Last Airbender. My cabbages. Yeah, that word, D. I don't know what that is. He exclaimed with fever. Ryan, who was about to be enveloped in a bear hug, froze. Cabbages. His expression was a mixture of perplexity and embarrassment. Valentine and Leia mirrored his expression. It is a term of endearment we use for our friends, Lumian explained with innocent sincerity. Everyone in the Derge region is aware of it. It's been a tradition for centuries. Believe me, my cabbages. Believe me, my cabbages. Leia couldn't help but glance around, producing the tinkling sound. Pierre and the other nodded in agreement, assuring the newcomers that Lumian's words were true. However, the grins on their faces hinted that they were pleased to see foreigners struggling to comprehend their affectionate greetings. Lumian stroked his chin thoughtfully. Don't you fancy it? Then I shall offer a different opening. It can also be used for friends. My dear bunnies? My dear bunnies, my darling chicks, my loving ducks, or perhaps my adorable lambs, which one tickles your fancy? But Ryan's expression was as stiff as a board, and Valentine's brows furrowed in confusion. Leia let out a sigh, a mix of exasperation and amusement. Let's just stick with a cabbage, shall we? At least it sounds normal. Ryan let out a quiet sigh and gently grasped Valentine's elbows. He gave a slight nod and remarked, they all seemed like a precious treasures in the family. Without awaiting Lumian's response, he swirled his body and addressed the bartender. How much will it be? 2 viralvideo? Oh my god. 2 viralvideo. $2, I assume that's what it's saying. Replied the bartender, eyeing the glasses lined up on the counter. Dior, oh, gold. Dior is gold. Okay, all right. We're learning. I'm sorry. We are learning French. I didn't know I needed to study French before reading COI. All those French jokes you guys were saying like for a year, I'm like, oh, that's funny. Like, we're doing French jokes now. I get it. COI has a lot of French terminology in it. Ryan settled the bill, and Leia shifted the conversation to a different subject. Lumian is an uncommon name, at least better than names like Pierre and Guillaume. Lumian countered with a grin. If you were to call out Pierre in this place, a third of the people would turn their heads. Call out Guillaume, and another third will respond, I will learn these names, I promise. And another third will respond, as for this gentleman, he gestured to the skinny middle-aged man and sipped his free drink. His full name is Pierre Guillaume. He has both names mixed together. The Guillaume TTS. What does TTS mean again, Cammy? Leia flashed a smile, skirting the topic of the cabbage. As they departed from the tavern, Lumian turned around and surveyed the surroundings. What's the matter? Leia inquired with curiosity. Lumian pondered for a moment and replied thoughtfully. It is not just the 3 of the foreigners who came here to the tavern today. Text speech. All right, let's do this. Here we go.
His full name is Pierre Guillaume.
Guillaume. It's almost like Guillermo del Toro. I can't even pronounce that.
Ryan settled the bill, and Leia shifted the
Wait, no, wrong one.
His full name is Pierre Guillaume.
Guillaume. Hard G. Guillaume. Oh, like a gnome. Guillaume. Gnome. Like a gnome in fantasy. Gnome. Guillaume. Ah, Pierre Guillaume. Oh, I got it. His full name is Pierre Guillaume. Oh, okay, we're learning French. Gio flashed a smile, skirting the topic of cabbage. As they departed from the tavern, Lumian turned around and surveyed the surroundings. What's the matter? Lee inquired with his curiosity. Lumian pondered for a moment and replied thoughtfully, it's not just the 3 of you. Dude, I already forgot how to pronounce it. Guillaume is not spelled how it should be spelled. Guillaume. Damn easy. It's starting to get good. Hon. Just give me another 100 chapters, man. I'll be fucking fluent in fucking French. I'll be like, oui, every chapter. It is not just the 3 of the foreigners who came to the tavern today. Another person arrived earlier, but I don't know when they left. Who is that? What did they look like? Ryan asked with a serious expression. Lumian took a moment to reflect. A lady, very sophisticated. Audrey? Very sophisticated. You can tell she's from the city with just one glance. I can't describe her appearance. Why don't I sketch it for you? It's fucking 4s. Do you know how to draw? Leia acquired, aware of Lumian's idiosyncrasis. Lumian chortled, I don't. In that case, let's locate the Padre first. Ryan decided, drawing the conversation to a close. Corju was a place devoid of street lamps at night, yet the twinkling star above provided a faint glimmer that allowed the 4 of them to navigate the road. The yellowish light emitted from the windows on either side only added to the ethereal ambience. As they approached the eternal blazing sun cathedral situated in the village square, the grandiose structure appeared somewhat blurred in the darkness as if it was emerging with the night. We've been here before. There's no one here. Valentine grumbled with a frown. Lumian smiled and said, no one. Damn, we're barely halfway through the chapter. No one at the front door doesn't mean there's no one elsewhere. He then proceeded to lead Ryan and the others around the front of the cathedral towards the cemetery, where they found a dark brown wooden door. Lumian didn't wait for Ryan to knock. Instead, he reached out over and fiddled with the keyhole before opening the side door with a creak. That's not very nice, is it? Ryan frowned. Leia nodded in agreement, her bells tinkling. We're here to visit the Padre, not to fight him. I really hope we don't fight him. All right, Lumen Acquiescent? Acquiescent? All right, Lumian Acquiesced. Oh my god. Cuttlefish is vocabulary leveled up like 2 folds, man, in these 2 chapters. Holy shit. There's no way that's fucking English, bro. That is not English. I have never read that word in my fucking life. That is not English. You're lying. That is a French word disguised as English.
All right, Lumian acquiesced.
Acquiesced. Okay, that is an English word. I heard that word. So fucking sure that's a fucking French word. Alright. Oh, Jesus, man. Alright, Lumian. I can't even pronounce it anymore. One more fucking time. Jesus, man. Holy fucking shit.
All right, Lumian acquiesced.
It's just like the good old days. Alright, Lumian Acquiescent. Dude, I can't fucking read that word. Alright, Lumian Acquiescent. Dude, it's like, why is it spelled a different way than it's pronounced? God damn, man. Alright, Lumian Acquiesced. He closed the wooden door and knocked lightly. Hey, is anyone there? I'll come in. If you don't answer, he muttered in a low voice that was barely audible in the night. There was no... This is one of the best audiobooks you guys have ever heard, huh? No, I'm kidding. This is not an audiobook. Reaction. There was no response from the inside of the cathedral. Without hesitation, Lumian pushed open the door and gestured inside. Go on in. Ryan hesitated. He looked at the darkness behind the door and glanced at his companions. Okay, he took a step forward, slow but firm. Leia and Valentine followed closely behind. The 4 silver bells adorned Leia's boots and veil that were eerily silent. The environment was dim and eerie as the 4 of them made their way forward. Out of nowhere, Ryan came to a halt and muttered in a low voice, "What's the noise?" Yes, I heard it too, Lumian agreed. Without wasting any time, he forcefully pushed the door aside, and it opened with a loud clang, revealing what lay beyond. The dimly lit space resembled a confessional. A beam of starlight shone through it, revealing a naked man in his prime. Whoa! Lying atop of a fair... Whoa! Lying atop a fair-skinned woman. The scene stunned everyone, including the man and the woman. Suddenly, the man sat up and bewildered Ryan and his team. Sacre bleu? But I don't typically clip easy as much. Are there already a lot of clips? And his team, Sacre bleu, you've ruined the holy church's plan. Amidst the reverberating roar, Lumian, who was quietly approaching behind the group, waved his hand and spoke quietly. It seems we have discovered our Padre, our Rivia, my cabbages. All right, COI is a lot more R18 than LOM. Really? Sacre le bleu equals damn. Sacre bleu, sacred blue, a old French slang for damn. Got it. Before anyone could react, Lumian dashed towards the side of the... You know, I ain't complaining. If it's a little bit more spicy, I'm down. The circle of the French. Before anyone could react, Lumian dashed towards the side of the door, leaving his words to drift away in the wind. As the team stood in shock, Leia, Ryan, and Valentine couldn't shake the words of the middle-aged man, Pierre Guillaume, from their minds. You should steer clear of this one. He's the most mischievous block in the whole village. Lumian sauntered down the country road, hands tucked in his pockets while whistling a tune under the stars. As expected, the Padre is having an affair with Madame... Oh, he's having an affair. Wow, that's even worse. Fucking sacrilege over here, dude. And in the church? Damn. As expected, the Padre is having an affair with Madame Paulus. Mon Dieu, these foreigners exude an air of prestige. The Padre would never dream of crossing them. He must pay an exorbitant sum to keep his sordid dalliances under wraps and preserve his standing with the cathedral. Humph. He only has himself to blame for lusting after... What? He only has himself to blame for lusting after Aurora. I have been biding my time for this chance. As Lumian muttered to himself, he returned to his abode on the outskirts of the hamlet. The structure he called home was a particular semi-subterranean two-story affair. The ground floor doubled as both kitchen and lounge. A hefty oven and a grandiose stove dominated the room. Aurora. Lumian hollered as he trotted up the stairs. No reply. The upper story was divided into 3 chambers and a laboratory. All doors stood open. Wait, what? Lumian peeped into each room but couldn't find his sister. No, that's not what it read. He was talking about the priest. What? No. Let me reread that. Really? I think it was the priest. We'll go back and we'll talk about it. I think he was talking about the, no. okay. Yeah, we're talking about he was talking about the priest. Adopted sister, and it was the padre that was like, okay. I got scared. It's still creepy as fuck that the priest is lusting after his sister. He gotta die already. The padre, he gotta go. Lumian peeped into each room but couldn't find his sister. He molded over for a moment, then marched to the end of the corridor and clamped up the ladder that led to the roof. The roof was a fiery orange, painted by the twilight sky, and in the center sat a figure, holding their knees and staring at the contemplatively at the sparkling lights. This was an exquisite woman, expectantly so. Her long and thick locks were a shade of gold, her eyes a pale blue, and her facial features were intricate and refined. Her gaze was fixed on the cosmos. Oh, but we already know what's out there. Her countenance serene, akin to that of a statue. Lumian remained silent. He shifted to her side and sat next to her. He lifted his head, gazing at the dense forest in the distance, absorbing the susurrus. What the fuck is this word? Absorbing the susurrus of the wind blowing through the trees. After a while, the woman raised her arms and stretched, paying no heed to her appearance. Aurora, I understand why you come up here so often. What's so interesting about this view? It's the cosmos, man. The cosmos are interesting, bro. Lumian commented, call me Grande Soror? Grandisier? Call me Grande Soror. Aurora scolded playfully, tapping Lumian's heads with her fingers. Aurora sighed and thought to herself, a philosopher once said that there are only 2 things worth revering in this world. One is the morality in one's heart, and the other is in the cosmos above one's heads. Lumian noticed his sister's slightly melancholic expression and flashed a grin. I know the answer to this question. Emperor Rizal said so. Oh, that's cool. Puffed, Aurora laughed. She took a sniff and raised her beautiful golden eyebrows. She has golden eyebrows. You've been drinking again. This is called socializing. Lumian took the opportunity to recount what he had just happened. I met 3 foreigners. Aurora couldn't not help but laugh. I'm really afraid that the padre will have a heart attack. Her expression then turned to seriousness. Lumian, don't provoke the padre anymore. It'll be troublesome if we get a new one. A new padre? What happened to the last one? But I can't stand his face. Lumian complained before Aurora stood up. She looked down at her brother and smiled. All right, it's bedtime. My inebriated brother. Aurora said with a smile as she threw out some silver dust. Silver dust? What is that? What kind of golden dust? Aurora flew down from the roof like a bird and entered the window of the 2nd floor, leaving Lumian behind. She flew down from the roof like a bird and entered the window on the 2nd floor, leaving Lumian behind? Is that like in a metaphorical way, or like she actually flew down like a bird? Lumian watched this quietly and shouted anxiously, what about me? Climb down yourself. Aurora replied, oh, she's already a beyonder. Climb down yourself, Aurora replied mercilessly. Lumian pursed his lips and then smiled, fading bit by bit. He watched the silver specks of light disappear into the night, sighed softly, and muttered to herself, I wonder when I'll be able to possess... she's already a beyonder. I wonder when I'll be able to possess such extraordinary powers. No, she flew down like a bird? So she actually flew. Alright. Alright! Chapter 3, Dream, man. Wow, this is good so far. I like it. Dude, it's taking us... It took us 40 minutes to get through 2 fucking chapters. Wow, dude, these are like girthy, thick chapters, man. These are long chapters, dude. Chapter 3 is called Dream. Are we dreaming? Lumian lingered atop the roof, reluctant to descend just yet. His visage was a picture of stoicism, betraying no emotion, gone with a mischievous young man who frequented the tavern, always reading with a grin and a jest. In his place was a composed and resolute figure, unrecognizable to those who knew him before. Since discovering Aurora's magical powers by chance, Lumian had... maybe it was by fate. By chance, Lumian had been obsessed with obtaining them, but Aurora always warned him against it, citing the immense danger and agony that came with wielding such abilities. She refused to divulge the secrets even if she knew how to grant them to mere mortals. Lumian couldn't force her to reveal the method, so he resorted to pleading and persuading her at every turn. After a few seconds of contemplation, Lumian sprang to his feet and made his way down to the edge of the roof. He climbed back to the second floor using the wooden ladder. He strolled to the Aurora's room, only to find the brown wooden door ajar before peeking inside. Aurora sat at her desk, scribbling away with champagne fountain pens, dressed in sky blue gown. What is she writing so late into the night? Is it related to witchcraft? Lumian placed his hand on the door and quipped, "Writing in your diary, are you?" "Who writes in a diary, honestly?" Aurora replied without looking up from her writing. Lumian wasn't satisfied with her answer. But didn't Emperor Rizal keep several volumes of diaries? Rizal, is she trying to be like the next Rizal? Well, not in like a freaky way, but like in like a historic way that that he was remembered, right? Rizal, the last emperor of the Intis Republic, where the siblings currently lived, so it is Intis, had brought down... That's so cool. Now we're in Intis, dude. Rizal, the last emperor of the Intis Republic, where the siblings currently lived, had brought down the Sauron dynasty and assumed the mantle of Caesar, thereby declaring himself emperor. The man had made countless strides in the fields of science and engineering, having been credited with inventing the steam engine. Not to mention, he had charted the sea routes of the southern continent and sparked an age of colonization. He was the embodiment of his time, a symbol of bygone era over a century ago. However, in his twilight years, he was double-crossed and assassinated by the White Maple Palace of Trier. In the aftermath of his death, his diary pages were disseminated throughout the world, yet they were written in a tongue that nobody could decipher, as if the words didn't exist in this world. That's why Rizal ain't no honest man. Aurora, her back turned to Lumian, scoffed. "So what are you scribbling there?" Lumian queried. That was the crux of the matter. Aurora responded with a shrug, her voice dripping with indifference. "A letter to whom?" Lumian couldn't help but scrawl. Aurora paused, laying down with her exquisite golden champagne fountain pen, intricately patterned to review her words and phrases. She has a pen pal. Her pen pal is like a Zick or Audrey. A what now? Lumian frowned, his brows thoroughly perplexed. What the hell was that? Aurora chuckled, running her fingers through her luscious golden hair as she began to lighten her brother. "That's why I keep telling you to read more and study more. Quit wasting your days drinking and caressing. Look at you. What sets you apart from an illiterate? Pen pals are friends who become acquainted through newspapers, magazines, and other publications. They've never met and rely solely on letters to keep in touch. What's the point of having such a friend?" Lumian asked, rather concerned about this matter. As he withdrew his hand from the door, he scratched his chin deep in thought. Aurora had never had a boyfriend before, so he couldn't allow her to be fooled by someone she had never met before. Meaning, Aurora thought about it seriously. First off, emotional value. Oi? I know you don't understand the concept. Humans need to connect with one another, but some things and emotions cannot be shared with the villagers nor with you. I require a more private outlet to release my thoughts. These pen pals whom I have not met in person are perfect for that. Secondly, do not underestimate my pen pals. Some of them hold great power and some possess extensive knowledge. For example, a pen pal gifted me this battery operated lamp. Kerosene lamps and candles are too damaging to the eyes and not ideal for writing at night. Without waiting for Lumian to ask another question, Aurora waved her hands behind her. "Get some rest, my what is that word?" Lumian is getting jealous. "Get some rest, my inebriated brother. Bonne nuit." I assume that means good night. All right, bonne nuit. I assume that means good night. Lumian replied, trying to hide his frustration. Aurora instructed, don't forget to close the door. It's positively frigid in here with all the windows and doors open like that. Bon guinet is good night. Oh, we did it. We figured out a French word. Lumian slowly shut the door, made of brown wood, and then headed to his room where he removed his shoes before sitting on the bed. In the dims of the night, Lumian could make out the wooden table beside the window, then slanted chair, the small bookshelf against the wall, at the wardrobe on the other side. He sat still, lost in thought. He knew Aurora was a woman who kept her secrets to herself, and there were things she had not revealed to him. Lumian was not surprised, but he was worried that her secrets might put her in danger. And when reality hits, his opponents were limited. He was just an ordinary person with a robust body and sharp wits. Thoughts came rushing in like waves crashing on the shore, and just as quickly as they receded, Lumian took a deep breath and made his way to the washroom to freshen up. Afterwards, he removed his jacket-style brown coat and collapsed on the cold bed. The April air in the mountains was still nippy. In the midst of his fugue state, Lumian perceived a murky mist enveloped his surroundings, and, you know, I was just thinking about Frank Lee. Frank Lee had like golden hair. She has golden eyebrows, so I assume she has golden hair, which would make her Frank Lee's daughter. That's what I'm thinking. In the midst of his fugue state, Lumian perceived a murky mist enveloping his surroundings and erasing everything in it. He shrugged throughout the haze in the days, yet regardless of which direction he took or how far he went, the fog always led him back to the same place, his bedroom. I scrolled down way too much. The room was fashioned with a wide 4-piece bed, a wooden table, and a chair poised in front of the window, bookshelves, wardrobes, and the like. Few Lumian's eyes flicked open with a start, the morning sun casting a light throughout the blue curtains. He sat up, staring blankly at the room, feeling as if he was still trapped in a dream. The same dream he had been having for days. The gray fog that refused to clear. The gray fog. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we gonna see him? Is he now him? Oh wait, Frank Lee is ginger? Shit, is Frank Lee ginger or does he have gold hair? I thought he was like a blonde. I thought he was a blonde like Derek. Some golden eyebrows, blonde hair like Derek. I'm like, hold up. But if he's ginger, then I'm so wrong. He sat up, staring blankly at the room, feeling as if he was trapped in a dream. The same dream he had been having for days, the gray fog that refused to clear. He raised his hand to his temples and muttered, ooh. Just like Klein in chapter 1. He raised a hand to his temples and muttered to himself in a deep voice, "It's getting more frequent. I have the same dream almost every day." Lumian calmed demeanor, believed the fact that his dream hadn't brought about any negative effects, but it certainly had also failed to yield any positive outcomes. I pray that that hidden in this is something more propitious. Lumian murmured as he rose from the bed. Lumian opened the door to the corridor and was immediately met with a sound of emanating from Aurora's room. What a coincidence, Lumian smiled, but then a sudden thought hit him, causing him to take a step back and stand at the edge of the door. What is it? When Aurora's bedroom door creaked open, Lumian quickly raised his right hand and began to massage his temples with a slightly panned expression on his face. "What's wrong?" Aurora noticed his discomfort. "Success." Lumian cheered inwardly as he tried his best to calm himself down. "I had that dream again," he replied in a deep voice. Aurora's golden locks of hair cascaded down her shoulders as she furrowed her brows with concern. The previous methods didn't work. She murmured to herself before suggesting, "Perhaps I should find you a hypnotist, a real hypnotist, and see what caused it. The kind with magical powers," Lumian questioned deliberately. Damn, so she really is keeping Beyonders from him. Like, she doesn't want him to know. Aurora nodded lightly in response. "One of your pen pals." Lumian couldn't help but ask, "Why do you care about this? Think about how to solve your own problems." Aurora retorted without hesitation, "That isn't a very sisterly thing to say." "Isn't that what's on my mind?" Lumian muttered inwardly. He took the opportunity to say, "Aurora, if I become a warlock and gain extraordinary powers, I should be able to unlock the secrets of the dream and end it completely." "Don't even think about it," Aurora replied without hesitation. Her expression softened as she continued, "Lumian, I won't lie to you. This path we're taking is dangerous, painful, and downright treacherous. If I had any other choice, so she has no choice? If I had any other choice, and if the world wasn't spiraling out of control, I'd be content with being a regular old writer and living a peaceful life." Lumian didn't hesitate to interject. "Then let me shoulder the burden of danger and pain. I'll protect you while you do what you love." Those words had been repeated in his head for quite some time. Aurora went quiet for a couple of seconds before a grin spread across her face. "Are you discriminating against women?" Before Lumian could say a word, she added with a serious tone, "It's too late to turn back now. Ain't no going back to what we had before. Fine, I get it. I'm gonna go wash up. You study hard at home today and get ready for college entrance exams in June. You said it yourself, the world is getting more dangerous. What's the point of taking exams?" Lumian muttered. He believes that the key to success was strength, not some paper degree. Aurora just smiled and said, "Knowledge is the power, my uneducated brother." Lumian had no response, so he just watched Aurora walk into the washroom. In the afternoon, in the bustling town square of Corridor, Raymond Gregg caught sight of Lumian Lee crouched under an elm tree. His thoughts were shrouded in mystery. "Shouldn't you be holed up in a home with your nose buried in those books?" Raymond approached him, his voice dripped with envy. Raymond was Lumian's confident, standing at a moderate 1.7 meters tall, with brown hair and brown eyes. He was an ordinary-looking fellow with a slightly flushed complexion. Lumian looked up at him and offered a charming grin. "Did Aurora not fill you in? Even the hangman deserves a respite. I've been cooped up for so long, I need a break." All morning, he had been ruminating on the possibility of acquiring extraordinary powers without Aurora's assistance. This required him to seek out clues and take the initiative to investigate. Eventually, he felt that the rumors of magical powers circulating throughout the village held some truths and leads, so he purposely waited for Remude here. "If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't rest for more than 15 minutes. Remude drawled, leaning casually against the elm tree. "We don't have a sister who's well-read enough to teach us. I plan on learning how to herd sheep next year." Lumian paid no attention to Remid's remarks and spoke reflectively. "Recall the tale of the warlock for me." Oh, he's learning from him. Remude couldn't quite understand Lumian's intentions, following his brow in confusion. "The one about the warlock. In the past, there was a warlock in our village, but he died later. On the day of his burial, an owl flew in front outside." An owl? There was an owl in LTM that can talk. "In the past, there was a warlock in our village, but he died later. On the day of his burial, an owl flew in from outside and perched atop his bed. It only departed after the coffin was carried out. Then the coffin became unbearably heavy. It took 9 bulls to pull it." Lumian pressed further. "How long ago was this?" Rumian's expression grew increasingly perplexed. "How should I know? I heard it from my father." What's up with that? Okay. Is there more behind that? Should we know who's the owl? Because there was an owl, an Ultium that spoke. My favorite character's finally here. The friend? The owl? The warlock? Huh. Let's keep reading. Damn, man, we got a lot of owls in chat today, huh? Chapter 4 is called Shepherd. Lumian sprang to his feet, his eyes flashing with turbination. Am I recording? Yes. "Then let's go to your father. He had always been a man of action, and he knew that investigating the village legend couldn't wait. If he dallied, his sister..." Like Madame Dally. I understood that reference. "He had always been a man of action. He knew that investigating the village legend couldn't wait. If he dallied, his sister Aurora would surely catch wind of it, and she would never allow him to proceed." Damn, 4 instead of 5. Already lying to the stream. Wait, no, hold up. That was like the estimate. The stream chapter count are estimates, okay? Those are estimates. Whatever chapter count I have for a stream, those are estimates to bring in the viewers. In Aurora's eyes, delving into the realm of extraordinary powers was tantamount to playing with fire. "How could I not know that there's danger? Aurora wouldn't lie to me about this, but even if the world is ablaze, I have to keep walking. I can't let Aurora face this alone." As he got up, his thought flashed across Lumian's mind. Every time Aurora mentioned that the world was becoming more dangerous, the seriousness and worry on her face couldn't be any more dangerous. Raymond, I will learn this name with time. Raymond Gregg looked at Lumian with confusion etched on his face. I hate that guy. By the way, when I told Wiz you want a rematch for the race, he said, "All right, I'll stop reading so we can start at an even pace." This motherfucker turned it against me. Wiz was just waiting for me to start so he could take a break, huh? He was waiting. He's like, "All right, bet, cool. We'll try something else. We'll do something else for now." "Why are you looking for him?" Lumian fixed him with a withered look. "Ask him how long ago the legend of Warlock took place. Why is the guy struggling to comprehend such a simple matter? Perhaps I need to find some time to test his intelligence." Raymond still looked baffled as he gazed at Lumian. Raymond. Oh, is it Raymond? It's Raymond. Oh, that's so much easier to read when you just spell it like that. It's Raymond. Not Raymond. It's Raymond. Oh my god. Why do you need to know such details? Should I bother trying to explain it to the clueless fellow? Or should I simply come up with a plausible excuse? He weighed his opinions. Lumian's mind raced as he considered his next move. He knew that he couldn't keep his investigation a secret from his friends, but he also knew that pursuing the truth about the legend was a risky move. However, he quickly came up with an idea. He flashed a grin that he usually reserved for a moment when he was about to deceive someone. Raymond took 2 steps back, sensing that something was amiss. Spill it. Lumian adjusted his dark-colored shirt and lined jacket before smiling. I believe the legend of the warlock is worthy of our attention. What's so important about it? Raymond asked after some thought. There was indeed a warlock in our very village of Cordu in the past, Lumian said with a serious expression. Think about it, my friend. When I lie, I don't provide specific details like the time, place, and background that anyone could easily verify. However, this legend mentions a warlock who lived in Cordu, and if it were to be a fabrication, it would be too easy for someone to expose it as such. But that was ages ago, Raymond countered. I'm also referring to the people who were around when the legend first started circulating. Lumian explained, his smile widening. They could have easily confirmed whether or not a warlock lives in Cordu at the time, and since the legend has been passed down throughout generations, it's highly likely that it's based on a real event. Raymond remained unconvinced, but when you make up stories, you often use phrases like more than 100 years ago, centuries ago, long ago, to make it impossible for anyone to verify. That's precisely why I need to confirm if it with your father. Lumian replied, a slight look in his eyes that said, you see where I'm going with this, don't you? That's true. Raymond nodded slowly, accepting Lumian's explanation, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. As he left the square and delved deeper into the village, Raymond had a sudden epiphany. Mon Dieu. Oh God, that's what it meant. Mon Dieu, why do you want to confirm if such a legend is true? Warlock Monami. Oh, that's from Expedition 33. Monami. I know that name. I know that French word. That French word gets brought up in Expedition 33. Monami. Warlock Monami, that's why we're searching for. If we can't confirm the house where he lived and the place where he was buried, he might uncover his secret and gain magical powers that go beyond mere mortals. My friend, Monami is friend. I'm about to cry. Monami. Monami. When he goes, Monami. Now I get it. It means friend. That's cool. If you guys haven't played Expedition 33, play it. It's such a good game. Warlock Monami, that's why we're still searching for. If we can confirm the house where he lived and the place where he was buried, we might uncover his secrets and gain magical powers that go beyond mere mortals. Lumian replied, his truthful words dripping with deceit. Raymond's expression turned skeptical. Don't tell me lies. Monami, most of those tales are created to scare little children. How can they be true? And on top of that, anyone who seeks the powers of a warlock will end up in the Inquisition. The Intis Republic lay on the northern continent where the Orthodox deities were the eternal blazing sun and the god of steam and machinery. These two churches divided the faith of almost all the people, and they didn't allow the Church of Evernight Goddess, the Church of the Lords of Storms from the Lowen Kingdom, the Church of Earth Mother from the Fane of Potter Kingdom, the Church of the God of Knowledge and Wisdom from Lindbergh, and the Church of God of Combat from the Face-sick Empires to come in and preach. Ami is friend, my friend. The Eternal Blazing Sun Church Inquisition was feared by all. Countless heretics had been locked up and subjected to unimaginable torture. Lumian laughed at that. Lumian laughed. Why are you fretting now, my friend? You said it yourself. Most of those legends are false. The chances of finding a warlock remains are slim to none. Besides, even if we do stumble upon the remains of a warlock, we don't have to take on his forbidden power. We can give it to the church and get a handsome reward. All right, warlock's grave is sure to be overflowing with treasures. Or characteristics. The church that Lumian spoke of was a church of the Eternal Blazing Sun. The church of the god of steam and machinery wasn't found in Cordu. Instead, it was unusually located in large cities and places with factories. Seeing that temptation growing in Raymond's eyes, Lumian couldn't help but click his tongue in satisfaction. Do you really want to be a shepherd, my friend? The shepherd herd was not talking about the romanticized idea of a pastoral shepherd that city dwellers often had. No, this was a profession. Every morning, they would have to lead a flock of sheep out of the graze and watch over them. Cordu was located in Derage, Riston province. Being a shepherd was a profession here, a tough and lonely profession. They worked for a sheep owner, herding dozens of even hundreds of sheep back and forth between mountains and plains. This was known as a herding. Even autumn, the mountains around the corridor would wither, and the shepherds would lead the sheep out of the mountain pass to the warmer plains far away, sometimes crossing borders in Potter, Lemberg, and other countries. By the beginning of May, they would have brought the sheep back to the various villages to shear them away and wean the lambs. In June, they would trek up the mountains and into the tall ranges. They'd live in shacks and make cheese while grazing the sheep until the weather turned cold. It's for later, nothing for now. The shepherds, so far no one is dead, so that's good news. The shepherds spent their entire lives on the move, traveling from place to place. They only had a small window to return to the village, which made starting a family nearly impossible. Most of them were single, and the few widows who had no choice but to herd sheep for a living were highly sought after by the shepherds. Raymond fell silent. After a long while, he hesitantly said, "I'll listen to ya. It does sound like fun, and I could use something to pass the time." In the ordinary course of events, once the family decided which child would become a shepherd, they would dispatch him to a certain shepherd's location to assist between the ages of 15 to 18. There he would learn the ropes of shepherding. 3 years later, the youngster would officially become a shepherd and seek employment elsewhere. 17-year-old Raymond, however, had found several reasons to postpone this matter for over 2 years. If his circumstances did not alter, he would have to start learning how to herd next year. "Come on," Lumian said, putting Raymond's shoulders. "Is your father in the fields or at home? Recently, there haven't been much work." Lent is approaching swiftly. He's either at home or at the tavern. Raymond let out a voice of envy. "You don't know anything about this. You're definitely not a farmer. You have a fortunate sister." Lumian put his hands in his pockets and sauntered ahead, disregarding Raymond's lamentations. As they approached a rundown tavern in the village, a person emerged from the side street. This individual was dressed in a lengthy brown coat with a hood. Who is this mysterious individual? A rope was tied around his waist, and he wore a pair of brand new supple black leather shoes. Is it the priest? Pierre of Berries," Raymond cried out in surprise. Lumian halted in his tracks and turned to look. "That's me," Pierre Berry replied with a wide grin and waved of his hand. He was a scrawny man with sunken eyes and greasy curly hair. His stubble suggested it had been quite some time since he had last shaved. "Why are you back?" Raymond asked in confusion. Pierre Berry was a shepherd, and it was only the beginning of April. He should be tending to his sheep in the fields beyond the mountain pass. How in the world did he find himself in the village? He had only just begun his journey, and even if he had gone to Lemberg of the northern of Potter, it would take him a month to return to Dierge Mountains. With his warm, smiling blue eyes, Pierre exclaimed joyfully, "Is it almost Lent? I haven't celebrated it for years. I can't miss it this year." "Don't you worry, I have a companion to help me look after the sheep. That's the beauty of being a shepherd. Without a supervisor, as long as I can find someone to help me, I can go wherever I please. I'm free as a bird." Lent was a widely celebrated festival throughout Intis. People welcomed the arrival of spring different ways and prayed for a fruitful harvest for the year. Although it had nothing to do with the Church of the Eternal Blazing Sun or the Church of God and Steam Machinery, it had already turned into folklore and didn't invoke the worship of pagan deities. Therefore, it had gained the tacit approval of the Orthodox factions. Okay. Free Bird. That's a good song, by the way. "You want to see who will be chosen as a spring elf this year, don't you?" Lumian teased, flashing a grin. In Cordum, the people selected a gorgeous girl to play the role of a spring elf for Lent. It was all part of the celebration. Pierre laughed along. "I hope it's your sister Aurora, but she definitely wouldn't agree, and she's not the right age either." "All right," he said, pointing towards the tavern just a stone's throw away. "I'll head to the cathedral to pray. Drinks on me later." Raymond absent-mindedly replied, "No need, you don't have much, though." As good as Lord himself," he said. "Even if there's only one copper coin, we have to share it with our poor brothers." He recited an adage that was well known among the shepherds in the Dierge region. Oh my god. I gotta work on these fucking words, man. And the Darage region. Lumian beamed at Raymond, saying, "Pierre's loaded. He's definitely treating us to a drink." He pointed to Pierre's Berry's spanking new leather shoes. Pierre Berry was thrilled. "My new boss is not too shabby. He gave me a few sheep and some wool, cheese, and leather." The shepherds were compensated with the food, a small sum of money, and communal animals, cheese, wool, and leather. The amount they received was dependent on the agreement they had signed with their employer. For shepherds who had to travel long distances, having a good and suitable pair of leather shoes was the most pressing and practical desire. As Lumian watched Pierre Berry strut towards the town square, His gaze gradually became solemn and filled with suspicion. He silently muttered to himself, going away with a week or two, or maybe even a month, just to attend Lent. Lumian paused as we pause and take a sip of our drink. Lumian paused for a moment, his eyes scanning the area before he turned and strode towards the local watering hole with Raymond. The tavern was a nondescript establishment with no fancy moniker to speak. I thought it said moniker to speak of. The townsfolk affectionately referred it to as Old Tavern. Upon entering, Lumian's eyes darted around the room in the habitual manner. Suddenly, his gaze came to a halt. There before him was a foreigner who had departed so hastily the night before. Oh, the other person. She was alone, not in the company of Ryan, Leia, and Valentine. Her dress was long, flowing orange garment, and her locks were a rich brown. Tousled in gentle curls, her piercing sky blue eyes were fixed on the scarlet hued drink that grazed her delicate hands. Beautiful and languid, she seemed out of place in the seemingly dimly lit tavern. Who is that? Pierre, long story short, Pierre got the new Jordans. Yeah, he's dripped out, man. I remember when I had my first pair of Jordans, I made sure I'd cleaned them every single day. But this was like 20 years ago, man. My first pair of Jordans, like 20 years ago, man, I made sure not a single piece of dirt was on it. We gotta do our outro, man. We can't just end the video like that. I'm liking this new character. So, well, I mean, okay. So far, I haven't seen anything of Lumian where I'm like, oh my god, he is amazing. I sent some art. Yeah, we gotta be looking at artwork now. But I'm curious to see how this series is gonna be now. Because now we're not in the big city. Now we're in the small little tavern. So I don't know what's gonna happen, or I don't know how the dynamic is gonna work now. Now that we have like a pair of siblings, we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But here, let's quickly check out some artwork. I am curious though. I'm excited, man. I'm excited to read this shit. I want to know more about Lumian, and just to be sure, her name is Aurora. Lumian didn't get the last name of Frank Lee from birth. He took Aurora's last name. So this is the cover art of Volume 1. So this is them. So Aurora, she has this golden light around her. She's holding her brother's hand, Lumian. This is Lumian. Who is this? Huh. The red moon is in the back. Female goddess figure. And behind her, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Orthodox gods are looking up. Oh, wait, no, there's more than 7. All right, we'll see what it is. I don't know. I'm curious. You know what? Let me throw chat back up here. It's written as Aurora. Aurora without... Oh, Aurora without the A. So just Aurora. Oh! Aurora? Aurora! I can say that. Aurora. Do a Lumian style outro. Lumian is cool. What's a Lumian style outro? He takes strangers to the Padre having the first straight up. Yeah, that was kind of freaky. So let's look at Lumian. Oh, he's kind of dripped out. Okay. Yo, he got a gun? He got a gun in the back? The covers from Elotim and CR are so pretty. I love it, man. I love this him drinking at the tavern. Oh, this is him drinking the green drink. The green fairy. What was it called? Jouvier. I can't even fake pronouncing it. That shit in French. But that was basically like a green fairy wine or whatever it's called. Okay, there's Lumian. Ah, look at Lumian. Okay. He's 100. What is this in inches? What is this in freedom units? 176 centimeters. He was born September 26, 68 kilograms. What is that in pounds? Fille vete, which is the gray fairy. Yeah, le fée vete. Oh, there you go. Le fée vete. Damn, this man is drinking le fée vete. All right. And this is him. Lumian Lee. Why is their last the freedom units 5'8"? Okay. He's not that tall, but not that short. He's like middle. He's middle ground. Okay. Lumian Lee. I like it. So, oh my god, the missus is calling me right now. Bro, how does she know we're doing an outro? That is scary. Cry. I'm 5'7". What the hell is a kilometer? What the fuck is a kilo? All right, this is cool, man. So now we got Lumian coming from humble, small beginnings. He's not in the big city. But Aurora is. Or Aurora. Aurora. Look at Aurora. Oh, look at her reading her books. Oh, this is not good. Covered in black goo. That's kind of scary. Okay. Aurora Lee. Bro, she has to be Frank Lee's daughter. She got a talking pony? A talking horse? What is that? Lee Village Cordo. Oh, is Cordor? Cordu? I cannot pronounce these names. All right, man. We did it. We fucking started our new journey. I am so excited. I'm excited for this journey. All right, you beautiful, loving people. I will let you go. And let me switch to full cam. I will let you beautiful people go. We will be reading more over the weekend. I think as of right now, I will not try my best. I will. Every other day, we will be reading COI on weekdays. And on weekends, I will try and read once a week on weekends, but the weekdays every other day. Because I feel like I do need a little bit more time IRL, just for IRL stuff, right? But we should be good. And I'm still planning to do Shadow Slave videos. Shadow Slave will probably be offline. I'll probably read, react, and upload those reactions. And the videos are gonna be the videos are gonna be spaced out by like a day. So whenever something goes up the next day, that way there's at least a video going up every day. That is the goal. Like I'm trying to see if I can like have at least a video go up every day, 12 hours or like 16, 20 hours apart. But my goal is to try and have something up every day. Be it like, like in a perfect world, I would love to do like one day Shadow Slave, one day COI. Like I would like the videos to be uploaded like that in that order, but we'll see what happens. That being said, peace, have an amazing day, and we'll see what's gonna happen with Lumian and Aurora. I started doing the notes of the Lord Management, so if you need to read the notes, it's on here. Okay, and we can be kept up with it day 1D. Bless your soul, all right? To all the beautiful people, love you all, and I will see you soon. Peace. Have an amazing day.